Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Newcastle, England. Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Sport Club represents 8 rounds of boxing in the heavyweight division. Sponsored by the Grosvenor Casino, Scott's Menswear, StubHub, and We Buy Any House. And a very warm welcome to the viewers joining us live here on Sky Sports, and to the millions of viewers joining us around the world. This is the Geordie Roar! Introducing to you, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the red trunks trimmed with white, weighing in at 17 stone and 6 pounds, taking part in his 50th professional contest, having been a prize fighter finalist. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is. Woo! The sensation, Jayson Гаверн! And now, ladies and gentlemen, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the white trunks trimmed with black and gold, weighing in at 17 stone, 7 pounds, with a perfect professional record, 10 contests, 10 wins, all inside the scheduled distance. He is the 2-time ABA champion, an Olympic gold medalist. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a member of the British Empire, from Watford, England, it's Энтоni Joshua. Waiting's over, folks. Here we go. 8 rounds of boxing in the heavyweight division. Timekeeper Stuart Lithgow, referee Victor Lopton, and away we go.
Okay, gents, you've had your instructions in the dressing room. Remember, obey my commands at all time. Defend yourselves at all time. God bless. Touch them. Let's do it.
Jason Гаверн couldn't look at Энтони Джошуа at the weigh-in yesterday afternoon. He couldn't do it there either. What a way to bring up your half-century for the American. He sparred last year in Essex with Энтони Джошуa, hurt his shoulder during sparring, but got battered around the ring as well. And maybe that's why the bookies are saying there's a very good chance this could go inside a round. That would be pretty sensational if it happened, because we saw Гаверн on the Brooke Porter undercard last summer. He went 4 rounds with new world champion Deontay Wilder. 4 very one-sided rounds, it has to be said, before he retired on his stool. And he's been in with some good, solid operators as well. But listening to Гаверн in the build-up to this one, he rates Joshua almost as much as everybody else does. He says, of all the people he sparred, he puts Joshua in the top 3, and one of the 2 ahead of him is Vladimir Klitschko.
See, I think it's a big problem we have here, Nick. He's speaking more like a Joshua fan than a Joshua opponent. You know, I think he realises what he's here for. So at least hopefully he'll let some big right hands go, give it a go, not just try to survive for a round or 2. Hopefully he'll give it a go. But really, we cannot give him any chance here whatsoever.
Well, he's just trying to survive at the moment, making himself a very difficult target for Joshua to connect with. Well, a twisting, spinning, turning, trying to keep that head protected and trying to keep distance.
I mean, he does have the experience, you know, so he should be able to get close once or twice and let some of these swings go. But Joshua, it's all about Энтони Joshua. He's controlled, he's shaking his shoulders out there. You know, just a slight frustration in the early stages of the round here.
Oh, solid straight left hand just rocked Гаверн there. By a Joshua standard, that punch had nothing. And it shook Гаверн to his boots.
Yeah, that's a bit ominous. I mean, the first clean punch, it's got him bang onto his heels. But Joshua's taking his time. Here comes the right hands now. He'll start getting a little bit closer now.
Yeah, the reflexes saved Гаверн there. Just turned his head and tried to do it again, and then forced a hold as well.
That was a good right hand from Joshua. Didn't land flush, but it was a good solid shot. So a little bit of credit for Gaverns. He's taken it, still in there.
At the moment, he's seeing him coming, and he can deal with the big bombs. But how long can he keep it up for? Just slipping out of trouble again there. But it's just a ticking time bomb in there for Jason Gaverns. You just know it's going to go off. You don't know when. And more to the point, everybody in this arena knows it's going to go off as well. Gaverns looking just to survive the opening session here, because Joshua's zeroing in on him. More damage with the left hand. He felt that one as well.
Yeah, Joshua's using the uppercut, which is wise with Gaverns all over the place, just trying to duck, dive and survive.
That's Tony Sims running the corner.
Well, Gaverns used every bit of his experience to hang on in there for the opening round. He was hurt a couple of times, and I think everyone knows one clean shot can get this job done.
Round 2.
Энтони Джошуа has 4 first-round stoppages to his name. He has 5 second-round stoppages. Is this going to be number 6? The only man to go into the 3rd round with him is the German, Konstantin Eirich. Again, Gaverns, his reflexes getting him out of trouble from that right hand. So it's the left that comes into play yet again. And he's having a lot of success with the left here, Joshua.
Well, I think a good tall heavyweight like Joshua, you want a good jab as you move up in levels. All the great heavyweights, or most of them, have had a real solid jab. And Joshua certainly possesses that, and he's beginning to use it now, moving behind it.
I remember a while back at the York Hall, we had the great Larry Holmes with us, watching Энтони Джошуа that night as well. And Larry started talking to Joshua about the jab. Энтони did a lot of listening. Body work with the left hand, then another shot with the left.
You actually heard the punch there landing. That was a good shot that Gaverns took. Give him his due. He's taking his bumps here.
Well, he's avoiding the big right hands. He got away with another one there, just ducked underneath it. Body shot from Gaverns. And then he gets out of trouble again, looking for the body again. Doesn't appear to be troubling Joshua with anything. Misses with the left hand this time. Didn't miss that time.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Gaverns is complaining.
6,
well, he was hit round the back
7,
of the head. He wasn't. It was
8.
a straight jolting shot. And he's going to get in close and just try and wrap himself around Энтони Джошуа. But how long can he do that for?
I mean, it's also...
And there's the big right hand. Gaverns in big trouble. The left puts him down for the second time. He was undone by the right. The left put him on the floor.
5,
and he's a
6,
brave, proud man,
7,
Jason Gaverns. He will try and beat this count if he can. Will Victor Loughlin let this go on? Gaverns saying yes, showing defiance. But the end is coming. They are on their feet here in Newcastle, waiting for the last act. Surely one more solid shot will do it. Joshua zeroing in. That smile that's got an edge of malice to it on his face as he tries to measure up the veteran American.
Well, I think the crowd won to Gaverns there because he had an excuse to get himself out of it, didn't take it, so he's back in there for more punishment, but this will not last much longer.
Is he going to get through to hear the bell? That in itself would be a big achievement. And he may not. Right on the bell there. He was shaken again, but look at that little act of defiance. His trademark roar of woo to the crowd. Not going quietly, is he? Not only is he a good guy, he's a tough guy and a very proud guy.
Yeah, you got to give him that. I mean, he's taken some huge punches in that round, but he's still in there and proud that he saw his way through to the bell. I thought Энтоni, that was the knockdown. That was he complained about the shot behind the head, but no way. That was a good, short, jolting And it's the left hand that knocked him over. Okay, the right hand travelled behind the neck, but there was no great power in that. It was a short jolting punch that caused the knockdown. But to his credit, Гаверн got back up, got himself into things again, and he's still here.
Bonus 10 seconds.
I know he was softened up by that big right hand, but again, it's the left that's done the damage that's finally put him down. And it's the left we've talked about tonight, Jim. That's interesting, an interesting development with Энтони Джошуа. It's all been the big right-hand bombs up till now. He comes out with that smile again, Joshua, into round 3 for only the second time.
What I also like about Joshua, he's always mindful of his own defence. Even when he's completely on top, you know, he keeps his shape, he keeps his hands up, gets his punches out, brings them back. And here we come now.
Гаверн in trouble, down again, I think the right hand, and he landed a punch when he was on the floor there, and he needs a telling off for that.
He's going to have to be careful, but he's done that several times. In the previous round, he landed a left hook after the bell sounded. He's going to have to be very careful.
Well, there was a case there for Victor Loughlin to at least administer a stern lecture. That was a clear right hand landed when Гаверн was on his knees.
Maybe a little bit of frustration here for Энтони Джошуа. Probably envisaged doing this job a lot more cleanly than he's been able to do. But you can't fault it. He's facing a very experienced campaigner.
And down he goes again, left hand again. And Victor Loughlin's got to put an end to this. Because Гаверн is a brave man, but I don't think, he's going to give it a go again. But this is getting ugly here, and it's waved off. It's done. Энтони Джошуа does it again. This time he was left hand happy, and it's destroyed Jason Гаверн, and he's done it faster than Deontay Wilder managed last year.
Yep, another impressive performance. At times Гаверн made it a bit awkward, a bit frustrating for Энтони Джошуа, but he kept his cool, and as I was saying, he kept his own defences nice and tight. He knew it was only a matter of time, and I'm impressed by the fact that it was short punches that got the job done tonight. Short jolting left hands, short hooks to the body, to the head, and there was no point. Probably Гаверн could have got up after the last knockdown, but what was the point? I think he'd more than earned his money. I think the crowd warmed to him the fact that he was getting himself off the floor and getting back into the fray. But another excellent performance from young Joshua.
It really was. We look at the finish again here. Гаверн showing tremendous resistance. Another one of those right hands getting through. A few of them landed, but the finishing left hand put him on the floor. Well, he was ready to go from that right, wasn't he?
He's just going to have to be careful. I mean, a couple of times, I mean, Гаверн was down, was well on the floor when that punch landed. You know, he's going to really have to be careful. That's the finish there. And there was absolutely no point whatsoever in Гаверн getting himself back up again.
Well, we saw that in his last fight, I think, Jim, and you know, he was asked about it afterwards, and he more or less just swatted it away with a shrug. But that's gonna, if he develops that habit, that's probably the one bad thing you can take out of this. That's not a habit you want to get into, hitting people when they're on the floor. There's the official wave off. I
mean, it can happen, Nick, if they refuse to continue. You know, a weak referee could actually disqualify you. So it really is something he's going to have to think about. Just over anxious, I think. Well,
there's a stern test awaiting at the end of next month, because Kevin Kingpin Johnson will be at the O2 for Энтони Джошуа, and not many get rid of him quickly. But what can you say? Энтони Джошуа, if he hits you, you're in big trouble. There's the smile. It's 11-0 for Энтони Джошуа, all 3 rounds or less.
Ladies and gentlemen, timekeeper Stuart Lithgow has recorded a time of 1 minute and 21 seconds of the 3rd round. Your winner on a count out. He's still undefeated from Watford, England, AJ Энтони Joshua.
He came, he saw, he conquered Newcastle in a little over 8 minutes. Jason Гаверн should get good applause and deserves it. A very, very popular fighter, well-liked within the game. Brought everything he had, kept getting up. Thank goodness it was stopped. So he moves onwards and upwards. Andy Scott has got in the ring. Let's hear from the big fella, AJ.
Anthony, how did it feel to be back under the lights in front of this crowd?
Brilliant. Unfortunately, I had a bit of ring rust, so I couldn't display everything I've been doing in the gym. But once we get that momentum going, I'll be able to display some more sharp shooting. But what got me through as well, I've been Scotland, Manchester, Liverpool, London. I have to say Newcastle's right up there with the crowd. Thanks for all the support tonight as well.
Were there weaknesses from your sparring session that you knew you could exploit?
As I said, obviously, there's a lot of expectations. And Jason Гаверн is a very awkward opponent, slippy customer. He's there to make me look bad, and I think he did a good job of that. At the end of the day, I've got a job to do, and that's get a win. Hopefully, if I can start pushing to British titles, European, step by step, these fights won't really mean nothing when I'm experienced and I'm a champion.
In commentary, they said you managed to let a shot go when he was on the floor. Is that something that you need to work on just to control yourself in the heat of the moment?
He weren't on the floor, he was holding around my waist. So I think that he should have warned him for his low head. And then when he split us apart, that's when Jason Гаверн let go of my waist and fell on the floor.
Something you're conscious of then that you're not doing. Bring in your promoter, Eddie Hearn. Eddie, it's May 30th next against Kingpin Kevin Johnson. In an ideal world, would you have liked a tougher test than Jason Гаверн? No disrespect to him, he was very game.
Not really, coming off a stress fracture in the back, Andy. You know, of course, Kevin Johnson was down to be the next opponent. Anthony's been out for 5 months. He's had 10 fights. He's a young man. He's coming back from a stress fracture in his back. It was always a race against the time to be in Newcastle tonight. He wanted to be here. He trained very hard to come out for the Newcastle fans. And now we move on to May 30th at the O2. Kevin Johnson. It's a massive fight. It's a massive bill. And then we want all the big domestic fights.
What sort of problems do you think Kingpin Kevin Johnson could give you to solve? He's a bit of a defensive puzzle.
Well, it's the same type of style as Jason Гаверн, really. Jason Гаверн was a defensive puzzle to unfold, but I slowly broke him down. Same with Kingpin Johnson. That's the beautiful thing about the professionals, is that there's two sides of the fight. We got the first 6, and we got the second 6, or the first 5 and the second 5. So one way or another, they're going to get broken down, whether it's in the first quarter or the second quarter. So I just got to stay behind my jab, stay loose, start chopping down that tree, and hopefully I'll get another stoppage to my record.
Great to have you back.
Энтони Джошуа gets the win, but sounds a little frustrated.
I think he is. You know, he wants to do everything absolutely. He's a perfectionist. He wants to do everything perfect. He didn't feel like it was flowing. And you know, we both know what it's like in fighting. It's not always easy. It doesn't always flow. But the main thing is getting a good win. You can see by the reaction of the crowd. The crowd loved it. Just loved to see him. And in the end, you know, Гаверн was tough, was stubborn, was awkward, but that's what we expect him for. But that's what you need. You need different styles at this stage in his career. Part of the education.
The power was clearly there. Talking him awkward at times when he was accused of hitting when Гаверн was down. Anthony said he was very aware of that, but he said he wasn't down. He was just holding me around the waist.
It looks pretty much down there. He was at his knees. He was holding him around the waist.
That's somebody who's got to check
on his knees. I think he does. He's a little bit too over anxious. He needs just to calm down. That'll happen when he goes in with better fighters. When he's in with classier fighters. Гаверн was an erratic style, and I think that made it a little bit difficult for him. But I wouldn't be concerned about that. I think he handled him the way I would expect. In good style. You just get your opponents out there, and you're not always going to look $1 million, and I very rarely looked $1 million. So
He said,
you know, he's got to be happy with something.
He said Гаверn's style was similar to